So in this video we are going to speak about the design principles that we have to keep in our mind when we actually select the designs for our website. Okay, so the basic visual design principles and then accessibility design principles. So these are the two things that we are going to cover in this video. So first let's speak about basic visual design principles. So you have to remember these four elements: repetition, contrast, proximity and alignment. Okay, so they have to consider these four basic principles of design. So the repetition is all about repeating the visible elements. It could be the color, or it could be the font, or it could be the other elements, the structure, all those stuff. You have to always try to repeat the visual elements. That is called repetition. So the repetition would give a good design, like good appealing website. The second thing that you have to focus on is contrast. So you have to always try to bring the contrast. It could be from the background color to the font color. So that maximum that should have the contrast. Then only you can give the clarity in reading, and also it will draw the attention. The contrast will draw the attention of the audience. So that you have to always focus on the contrast. And the third thing that you have to focus is proximity. You have to always group the similar elements together. Okay, so the similar element means the for example, if it is login, if your website has the login credential, then the login username and password should be, all those login information should be grouped together. Okay, and then the navigation, all those information group should be grouped together. Like that, you have to keep the elements together based on its functionality. And the fourth element that you have to consider is alignment. So the alignment should bring the visual unity. Okay, so I'll show you what it is. For example, if you look at my website meenakrush.com, where you can see all the four design principles. So first let's speak about the repetition. So in the first principle, that is repetition, you can see this first column and the third column has almost the same size, that is the same width. And also if you can look at the open the website, where you can see the height also should be same. I'll open it, where you can see it has the same width and same height. And also you can see the color of this website, this column and this column is almost same, and the color of the footer and the navigation is almost same, and then even the size is same. Okay, so this kind of repetition is needed to give the good looking website. And the second principle is, what is the second principle? The contrast, right? So for the contrast, you can see I try to bring contrast in all the elements. Okay, so background, the dark background, that means font color is light font color. If it is the light background, then we have to use that dark font color. Like that, we have to always try to bring the contrast. Okay, you can see, so that will give the clarity in the content display. So the third element that we have to always consider is proximity, right? So proximity, you can see all the navigations are grouped together, and all the site navigation is grouped together here. And then the recent activities, you can see I try to use container to group these elements together. Okay, so this kind of proximity should be there. That will give visual clue for the audience. And the fourth principle is visual unity. So visual unity is kind of, what to say, the similar kind of visual clue, the difference, the similarity on the design principle. The same thing, like the first column and third column has the same width. That is also kind of provides the visual unity. Okay, so by repeating the visual elements, you can bring in the visual unity to your website. So you have to follow these four design principles to make your website more appealing. Okay, So the next topic that we are going to speak is accessibility. So what is accessibility? It's not only to feed the need of the person who has the physical challenges, physical disability, but also the disability accessibility criteria in website also deals with the person who has slow internet connection, feeding the needs of the user who has slow internet connection, who is using outdated computer and who is using different display devices like mobile phone, tablet. Okay, so everyone should have the same kind of benefits. Okay, that is called accessibility rule. So even in website we have to always follow the accessibility rule. So particularly you will not have any restriction in your personal website. For example, in my personal website I didn't follow the 100% accessibility criteria, but if you wanna publish your website as a part of the big organization, for example, if I wanna publish my website as part of our institution website, then I have to always follow this accessibility criteria. Okay, because the big organization has this guidelines that they need to follow to publish any content. Okay, so what are the principles that you have to? So always, if you are designing your own website, you can just focus on the basic accessibility, but when you are designing a website for a big organization, then you have to consider this 4 principles called POUR principle, POUR, easy to remember. That is perceivable, operable, understandable and robust. Perceivable means the content must be easy to see and then hear. The text, for example, if a web page has a multimedia content like image, you have to always consider the person who has visual challenges, who cannot see a web image, or if a person has an outdated computer or slow internet connection, then the image will not get downloaded. So to feed their needs, you have to always give the text description. And also if you are posting a video or audio, and the person who has auditory challenges cannot hear it. And also for the slow internet connection people, the audio downloading time may vary, right? So for those kind of audience, you have to always provide the title, a caption for the audio. So these kind of things that you have to follow, that is the first rule, perceivable. And the second rule that you have to consider is operable. That means it should be operable by both mouse and keyboard. Okay, so there are different design principles so that where you can you don't need to use the mouse. From the keyboard itself you can access the different elements of your website. Okay, so when you have to follow the accessibility criteria, then you have to include those design principles so that your website elements could be reached out by both mouse and then keyboard. So that is operable. And the third criteria is understandable. So the content should be easy to read, easy to navigate. It should be well organized so that it should be easy for all the audience, all different kind of audience to understand the content. Okay, so that is understandable. And the fourth one is robust. The robust means the content, the user, the developer should use the correct syntax, and they have to always care about the functionality of the website on different kind of operating systems and then different kind of browsers. Okay, and then any assistive technology. If a user is going to use a reader, then how it is getting along with those kind of assistive technologies. Okay, so considering those principles, those criteria are called robust. Okay, robust principle for accessibility. Okay, so these are the 4 things that you have to consider when you make your website more accessible, considering the accessibility principles. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to see is what are the web design principles for content writing, web writing. See in the next video.